Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Decision Hour. I'm Adam, and with me, as always, Patty.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and thank you for asking.
Good. I'm glad you said that you're good because I don't know if we have a long time to talk about if you're not.
Yeah, we're probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm feeling fantastic. I am kind of weirded out, but excited to talk about today's topic, which is, why don't you tell everybody what our topic is today?
Well, the technical term is astral projection, Adam. But I'm just laughing about this because I have a hard time speaking sometimes, and the word astral projection is just kind of weird. So basically, for others out there who've never maybe heard of that, have you heard of an out-of-body experience?
I'm going to use that term instead. I'm not even going to attempt to say the other word. I will use out-of-body experience. So, have you ever had an out-of-body experience?
I have not. But when I was in high school, I had a teacher who talked about how he would have out-of-body experiences, and he tried to tell our whole class how to have one. So I do remember like laying in bed and trying really hard to have this out-of-body experience. And I was going to meet my friend because she was going to try it too in this astral world, but it did not work.
God, there's so many things I want to say right now. So you had somebody that was trying to teach. So there's like a method to they teach you how to have an out-of-body experience?
Well, I mean, I don't think he was supposed to. In fact, I'm pretty sure he was a big pothead. And he was I
guess that's one way of having an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, I think he was my 10th grade teacher. And I'm almost certain that if my parents knew that he was teaching that in class, then I probably wouldn't have been in that class anymore. So I should have told them because I hated algebra. It was an algebra class.
So I can remember a couple of times where I've had out-of-body experiences where it was like I was sleeping and then it was almost like you kind of it's weird to explain because I sound crazy, or at least I think I sound kind of crazy when I talk about it, but it's like I was sleeping, I was younger, I was sleeping, and then I remember like hovering over my body while I slept, like in the corner of the room. I just kind of looked down and I was like,
That's
sleeping.
Creepy.
You know what I mean? And then recently, I was one of the last trips I took to Arizona. I met with a gal, and for the life of me, I can't think of the name of this technique or whatnot. But we did the tapping, and then right after that, we went into it was like I almost said hallucinogenic. That's not. I would have been way off. That's so completely wrong. Hypnotist, like you get into like a hypnosis state, and I remember like repeating things, and I'm fully awake during the entire process. Like I'm just relaxed. She kept saying relax, and you're gonna be relaxed, and you're gonna be relaxed. And I was like, damn. I'm thinking, like as she kept saying, I was like, shit, I'm really getting relaxed, you know. And then all of a sudden, she walks you through, and I'm a kind of an imagery type guy. So when somebody's talking about something or explaining something that they're passionate about, I try to envision it while I'm listening to that person, right?
Right, I do too.
And this particular, you want me to, let me explain it, how it went. So I'm laying down, just talking through this process, right? And then all of a sudden, you like picture you're on a beach or you're in the mountains somewhere. I like being in the mountains, but when I pictured it, it was like this big field. There was a big kind of a lake and then a mountain in the background. And then she's like, now picture this rainbow, beautiful rainbow that's got 6 colors in it. And I was like, all right, that's pretty cool, whatever. I'm relaxed. And now you're like, all right, now you're going to walk through the colors of the rainbow. And I was like, how am I going to do that, right? And she's like, all of a sudden you're lifted up. And I was like, oh, I literally felt myself lift off the floor. Like I was I'm awake. My eyes are closed. I'm awake. I feel the floor on my back because I was laying on my back. And then I could feel like myself walking through the colors. And then all of a sudden I had like this out of body experience where I'm on the ground looking up at the rainbow, and I just see myself walking through these different, as she's walking me through the colors. Each color I walk through individually, and I'm watching myself look up, and I'm like, huh, he's really walking through the colors. Like, it was weird. You know what I mean? It was like I was there, but I wasn't. Does that make sense?
That is crazy.
And I got to tell you, it was when I came, she's like, all right, when you wake up, or when I have you open your eyes, you're gonna be completely relaxed and everything's gonna be fine. And I'm sitting there like, all right, I'm gonna wake, I'm gonna just open my eyes, and I'm completely conscious. I'm not in the dream state or the deep sleep or anything like that. I'm listening. I'm very aware of all the surroundings. But instead of like, you know how you close your eyes and you might hear a noise and you're like, oh shit, what was that? Like when I hear a noise, when I was in that state, when I heard a noise, it just made me relax more. Like I wasn't really like, oh, I got to jump up. What was that? It was, and then she said, okay, open your eyes. I opened my eyes, and when I sat up, I was like, man, that was crazy. Like,
Wow.
I was so like, I can honestly say this with 100% certainty. I haven't been that relaxed in well over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in it, but I remember walking through, like, you're gonna walk through the color red, and you feel the red, the warmness of the red, and around you, blah 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 blah, and let go of any. And I was like, you're dealing with, this is a process that she's doing with veterans with PTSD and TBI and people that have depression and whatnot, and it was just like, learn to let go of certain things and whatnot. And I was like, man, this is crazy. But it worked. It really, really worked. And it was like, she's like, how'd you feel? And I was like, I had an out-of-body experience. It was crazy. And she's like, tell me about it. So I started telling her about it because I'm, like I said, I'm a visual person. And I'm like, I just remember as I'm sitting here telling you this, Patty, and to our listeners, if you guys listening to this, I'm like picturing myself like, I remember standing in that field, and I'm looking up, and I'm like, huh, he's really like just walking on these colors of the rainbow. Looking at it was crazy.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I've never had an experience like that. We'll have to do a show maybe on being hypnotized, because I have been hypnotized a couple of times.
Now, okay, hypnotized where they make you like bark like a dog, because that was the one thing I was worried about. She's like, what do you have concerns with? I'm like, I'm afraid you're gonna hypnotize me, steal my wallet, make me bark like a dog, and then I'm screwed the rest of the day. Like, and she started laughing at me, and I was like, you asked me, I'm telling you, and she's like, it's nothing like that. Like, hypnosis for this procedure goes like this, and we're just walk you through a certain state where you're not in a dream state, you're not asleep, you're aware of everything that's going on around you. We're just helping you relax so you can envision and get it was the craziest thing I've ever done, like crazy in a good way, because I went in with such kind of and I hate to admit this, I went in with such kind of a narrow-minded mentality about it, and I was also kind of fighting it, like, ain't no way she's gonna hypnotize me. Like, she's telling me that she's not gonna steal my wallet or make me bark like a dog or something. Like, I'm gonna fight this, right? And she just kept saying, like, every other word was like, and this is gonna help you relax, and when I count to 5, you're gonna relax even more, and when I get to 6, you're gonna double that. And and I was just like, shit, I'm really relaxed right now.
I wonder if that was an actual out-of-body experience or what, because, okay, when I was getting hypnotized, she would say things like, okay, try to picture yourself as a little kid. And then, like, I could picture myself as a little kid. I could see myself as a little kid. But was that that wasn't an actual out-of-body experience?
When you see yourself as okay, so let me ask you this. When you saw yourself as a little kid, were you like, take this as an example. Let's say that you grew up in the Midwest, so you played outside when you were younger, right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
So like, picture a place in your yard right now from childhood, and you remember, like, oh, I remember playing around in the yard and blah 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 blah, right? And you're picturing that right now. An out of body experience is like you across the street watching yourself playing in the yard. That would be an out of body experience.
That's weird. Woo.
Yeah. Have you ever had that though?
No,
have you ever
not like
so
that.
like when you see yourself, you see yourself how it was at that time, right?
Right.
I have had times where I remember. I'll give you another example real quick. I remember a time in my grandparents' house. I used to mow the yard a lot when I was Midwest. That's what we did, right? Grass. So I'm riding the lawnmower, and I remember seeing a snake going across the yard, and I slowed down because I didn't want to run the snake over. And I remember standing. Now, if you go across we live on a main highway, but it's not like a main highway, but it's a highway. I remember standing on the other side of the highway, looking across the highway at the yard as I'm on the lawnmower, as I'm slowing down, and I'm looking at my reaction in my face. Even though when it happened, I couldn't see my reaction, but when I had the out-of-body experience, I saw the reaction on my face. It's weird. It sounds crazy, like, all right, Adam's clearly put something in his Kool-Aid or something, like, but...
No, when you were talking about it, honestly, all I could think of is you're talking about the rainbow. I kept thinking of the Skittles commercial. And I was thinking that would be a great Skittles commercial.
He's literally tasting the rainbow. Look at that. That's awesome. And if anybody works for Skittles out there, we'd be more than happy to talk to you about sponsoring the show. Please give us a call.
That's not a bad idea. Good. You know what's crazy is I'm sitting here Googling out of body experience, and there are so many scientific sites to back this up. It's crazy. I keep saying the word crazy during the show.
Give us some examples.
Okay, so the Monroe Institute is one. They have a website. There's like a UK website, thetelegraph.co.uk. Medical News Today. There's YouTube channels on how to have an out-of-body experience. There's, oh my goodness, just so many websites. There's like pages and pages of.
And what's the science? What was the term that you used?
Astral projection. Astral projection. I feel like the dog on the Jetsons. Astral projections. How he talked. Astral projections.
Oh.
Everybody say that with me.
My God.
And you know what? Whoever counts up how many times I said crazy in the show, if you mention it to me on our Decision Hour community Facebook page or group, I will send you a gift certificate for Starbucks.
I'm still trying to keep it straight.
And I am on my first cup of coffee. What about you, Adam?
Crazy ass day, that's for sure.
Astral.
I'm
You astral.
Don't be an ass, Drill.
Bull shark.
Yeah, bullshit.
All right.
I'm curious that those of you that are listening right now, how many of you have had an out of body experience? And I will I have another session coming up where I'm talking with the person and she's going to be sending me her information and whatnot, so we can share that information with you guys for anybody that wants to go through a session or whatnot and see this. And eventually we're going to, Patty, I had asked her, like, maybe she'd be open to coming on a show and doing an example on you. And she, no, okay. Patty was like, yeah, no, that was,
I would do it. I do it.
No, I think you, because you get the idea, so we could go through the entire process, and she's agreed to come on the show here, so we're going to try to set up a time with her here in the next couple weeks to where we can have her on and whatnot. But it really is like the process itself, and if it's again, I can't think of the name of it, nor can I say it, but it really is. You have like an out of body experience, and you come back and you're so relaxed. at least I was very relaxed, and it helped me get over some things that I've been going through in my life. And it was I'll give you an example. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to. I've struggled with the I travel a lot. I'm in Arizona, part of the time, and then I'm in, the East Coast part of the time. And one of the things that I've had a big problem with over the last 2 years is leaving my son in Arizona so he could go to high school at this great school. It's like a college prep, private Christian high school in Arizona. And I can't say enough good things about the school. It's a great school, and he's very, very happy there. And as parents, that's what we're supposed to do, right? Is try to set our kids up for success as they get older. Mm-hmm. And he's got stability, so I moved him in with my parents, and that was very, very hard for me, because it's just been him and I the last 15 years. He's 16 now, and it's been him and I. It's just been the two of us. So when he started high school, it was very, very hard for me, and I felt guilty. And this is not, this isn't something I've really talked a whole lot about, let alone my feelings on it. I've kind of hid my feelings about this, but I felt responsible and I felt guilty. And when I would talk to my son about it, he would just nonchalantly like, "Dad, get over it." Like he's all like, I'm fine. I'm happy. You need to be, because if you're not doing what you need to be doing with HMG. You're not doing what you need to be doing with the show. You're worrying about something that you don't need to worry about, and you're wasting time. Now, mind you, my son's 16 now, and he's telling me this, and he's right. So when I went through this process, I got emotional. Because I want. She's like, "What are one of the things you want to let go of?" And I said, "I want to let go of the guilt that I feel by leaving my son in Arizona. Like, I'm not with him all the time, and I feel guilty because I feel like as a parent, I'm supposed to be with him all the time, and that's just not realistic." Mm-hmm. And after I went through this process, I literally felt like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. And
I'll tell you about my hypnotizing experience too sometime, because it was same.
Well, I think you should talk about it right now.
Well, just long story short, because when you get hypnotized, it takes an hour, so I won't go through the whole process that I went through. But
wait a minute, time out. It took you an hour to get hypnotized?
The whole process was an hour, yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Mm-hmm. It was really detailed. So there was something bothering me right when I went in. That's why I went in there to get hypnotized, to figure out what was going on, because I didn't know what the heck was going on, and like why I felt so. I honestly felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders, but I didn't know how to express that when I went in, because I really didn't realize it until after I was getting hypnotized and we're talking everything through. Like, I could remember our whole conversation at the end. Like, she's like, "You'll remember everything." I remember everything. But I was really relaxed. So during the time I was getting hypnotized, we went all the way back like into my childhood. And it was so crazy because somehow, I know this sounds weird too, but somehow I felt like I was in space. And literally, I felt like I was this little person. And during my hypnotism, I literally felt, and I could visually picture myself being this little person holding the world up in the palm of my hands.
Really?
Yeah. And so as she talked to me, she's like, "Okay, now picture yourself, we're going through this process, like picture yourself using confident words, like you are confident, you're strong, blah, blah, blah." Anyways, at the very end, I then pictured myself being, I don't know how to describe it, but a big person sitting on top of the world instead of holding the world in my hands, feeling like I had the weight of the world in my hands. I felt myself being on top of the world, and that's where I should be. Like, I should
You should
in
feel like you're on top.
control.
Yeah, you should be on top of the world.
Right.
I laugh only because you say a big person sitting
I know.
on top of the
I
world, and
didn't know.
Patty's all of like 5'1"
Two
or two, excuse me,
and a half.
Yeah. Oh, we got to throw the half in there. So
Yes.
but it's just that's really cool, and it's crazy. We just I don't know. I want to say maybe the power of the mind, right? How you get there. Yeah. Listen, we're coming up on time, folks. How many of you out there have been either hypnotized or have gone through the out-of-body experience, or the Patty? What's the word?
Astral projection.
Yeah, that. I can't help it. I'm so immature. But that said, make sure you guys are, when you listen to this, follow us if you're not doing so already, make sure you're following us on Facebook and leave a comment under this show, what you've done. And I would say the decision hour on this part is, like, if you haven't gone through any type of out-of-body experience or hypnotism or anything like that, it's quite therapeutic. It can be quite therapeutic, done right. So just know that we're going to have somebody on the show here in the future with this kind of stuff, working with us on it. So
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody.
absolutely. Folks, before we let you go, make sure you check out Heroes Media Group, all the great shows and all the great shows and stuff that they have over there. If you're interested in becoming part of the HMG family, go to www.heroesmediagroup.com. Again, that's all the time that we have. Thanks for listening. For Patty, I'm Adam. You've been listening to The Decision Hour.